I remember actually when that was happening. I think in Verts, what students did was the students of color, when that was happening, they would fall back, and then the white students would come in so that like no one shoots, you know. And I think it's still devastating even to just think about it now, that something of that magnitude happened in a country where we like now coming into like democracy, and we are living in a country which is like to be known of like having democracy as one thing that, you know, they put in the forefront, right? With that being said, right, is there a thing of like artist and anti-government movements, and especially the youth, right? Is there like a pattern there that we are seeing, or that we have been seeing, not only in South Africa but internationally so?
Am I allowed to swear on this?
Oh no, it's
No.
actually something I actually forgot to mention. Yeah, I'm trying to make this family friendly.
Okay, so no swearing.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Because if you asked me about that, I was going to swear. If I was going to answer honestly,
yeah,
um, you know, I think it's very insidious that our government and the political party which runs this government, which was banned by the nationalist government during apartheid,
Yeah.
and had strong songs that were banned, and had works of art and books and all the rest of that were banned because the apartheid government thought that it was politically insightful material, right?
Yeah.
That consuming this art would make people rebel against apartheid. I think that our government learned so well from the apartheid government, right?
True.
That they used that against our own people afterwards. Our Department of Sports, Art and Culture, whatever, is a joke. The Eastern Cape, where my family live now, which used to be the cultural kind of heartland of South Africa, is nothing. I mean, like Makana is in devastation. There are potholes everywhere. There's raw sewage running through the streets. It used to be the second biggest arts festival in the world. Not in Africa, not in the Southern Hemisphere, in the world, after Glasgow or Edinburgh Arts Festival. It's in shambles now, right? I think that the government, much in the same way that the first thing that they could and should have fixed was education in 1994. Because remember, that's what the protests were about in 76. It's about the
Yes.
quality of education
Yes.
and it being in Afrikaans. I think that they realized that if you keep people uneducated and you give them food parcels every 4 or 5 years and T-shirts, they'll keep on voting for you. And I think that by defunding, and let me say that again, defunding arts and culture, they're making sure that there's no mirror with which society can hold up to them and say, can you look at yourself? Can you see what you're doing to this country and what you're doing to these people? I mean, Nathi Mtetwa wanted to spend 8 million rand on a flag when there isn't one decent like photo gallery that's not privately owned in this country. What is the biggest arts museum in Joburg? JAG, right? Johannesburg Art Gallery. Are you, me, or a young woman, are we going to go and walk there?
no, we're not even.
So that art,
we're not even exposed much to it.
that art is in a sea of crime, preventing it. It's like an island. It's an island protected by all of this other nonsense. So let me not even get started with our government because they want to keep us in the dark so they can keep on exploiting us. And education and art go hand in hand because both are about consciousness, and they don't want us to
Yeah.
achieve consciousness. They want us to keep working and to keep quiet.
Sure, man. I can feel the frustration, like being seated here, and I'm just thinking about it. You know that we still have like a long way to go, right? And we still need to like come into terms where we are having elections and we are actually voting for some change to come. Do you think it will come at some point?
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that South Africa is actually a democracy? What does democracy mean?
Nah, I don't. In paper,
Yeah, okay, there we go. Agreed. Then we do agree. In paper, it's a democracy.
yeah,
But I don't know. Will it ever get better? That's really up to people to decide. I mean, honestly, democracy as a political ideology is not necessarily a foregone conclusion. Western political philosophers especially at the end of the Cold War, seem to think that like Francis Fukuyama, right? He said this was the end of history when the Berlin Wall fell down and when communism essentially collapsed, right? Because
Sure.
his idea was that there were now, for the first time ever, there was no longer a war of ideologies. There was only one dominant ideology, which is free market capitalism / democracy, right? 10 years later, there was 9/11 and all the rest of that in the whole world. So that was not the end of history, as he would say. I don't think that democracy is a foregone conclusion. I don't even think that democracy is necessarily right sometimes. Yeah, no. I think that there can be a tyranny of the majority. I really do believe that. So look at the ethnic wars that have happened, not just in our continent, but in other parts of the world, like Yugoslavia and Serbia and Bosnia and all the rest of that. More often than not, democratically, you will have an ethnic group that is the majority,
Yeah.
and then they have some sort of a political or personal or religious issue with the group that is a minority. In terms of the principles of democracy, that is, or maths, you can say that there's a majority exercising its political will upon a minority. But if it's genocide, or if it's concentration camps, or if it's apartheid, it's still wrong.